Very nice to see you again. We are going to go through the newspapers on this Monday morning, and joining us, Dawn Neeson, alongside Fraser Myers from Spiked magazine.
And
very good
Dawn,
to see you.
really only one story in town in terms of showbiz, and I have to just reflect the inbox quickly. Pauline says, I think Phil Schofield's well past his sell-by date. Let's face it, he had a good run. Time for some new up-and-coming presenters on the show.
That's not the issue.
Linda says...
Sorry, I just want to say something. That's not the issue. He's a very good presenter, but that's not the issue. You're all missing the point.
Linda says the mistake a lot of these presenters is they think they're bigger than the show. Amy says, personally, I'm relieved to see Schofield go. I prefer Dermot and Alison anyway. Irene says, I've never been that keen on him. I feel ITV have treated him badly. At the end of the day, he took Holly under his wing when she joined, and I think there should be more gratitude for this. And I agree with Eamonn, it's all fake, says Lisa.
Well, it is fakery. It's fakery. Every day is fakery. And, you know, sometimes there are... You can only judge people by their actions, and you can only speak as you find. And there's some people who find Philip Schofield the nicest person in the whole world. I personally didn't, but I do believe speak as you find.
I also think, who cares if he's a nice person or not? Plenty of people in this industry aren't nice people. There's more to it, this story, than meets the eye. And what I want to know is why suddenly things have changed. Why have they fallen out? What's behind it? Because I think personally that's the story.
Well, Holly Willoughby is the one that knows the answer to that. And she's
how's the Sun covering it?
Talking about it.
The Sun have led the way on this one, haven't they? They've had exclusives pretty much every day now. This is the front page today, and they have pictures of Phil sitting in a car down in Cornwall, which is where he's from, with his poor mum. I feel sorry for his mum.
One son in jail for paedophilia, one son booted out of ITV with no explanation.
Yeah, and as Eamonn's already been discussing, they say that Philip Schofield feels like he's been knifed by ITV bosses and possibly Holly as well. He's getting a 6-month payoff, and Holly's off on holiday.
Wish somebody had knifed me with 6 months payoff.
Well, I was about to say that as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is the ongoing saga, and there are some to me, they look very carefully posed up pictures of Schofield, sort of like looking suitably distraught.
Well, you wouldn't need to leave the house, would you? I mean, he knows he's going to be photographed.
Yeah, no, I
think
think it's
up to.
Yeah. So he's got a stress vape and everything. So it's poor little me. But I think the interesting point of this story is the statements. There is so much more going on to it than meets the eye, and I think a lot of people out there are aware that there are other stories that will potentially come out. Obviously, we can't go into it now, but that is the story. But where we are at the moment is that they are no more after a very long relationship together. The Mail have also done a very interesting piece analysing Holly's statement in particular, where she actually really didn't mention Phil much by name and referenced their friendship, even though they've been going on holiday together for years. And she said the sofa won't feel the same without him, and a little pink heart emoji. Now, this has been interpreted, I'm not up to speed on emojis, I often get many of them wrong, but a little pink heart emoji rather than the red one means girl pal. So this is a hidden message that basically what Holly wants, Holly gets, and she's got her girl gang. But I mean, you know, this started to fall apart in 2020 when she left the joint management agency and set up her own entirely female-staffed PR agency and management agency. And then, of course, last year with the queue jumping to see the Queen. And the writing was on the wall there. There are more stories to come out. I think we all know that, and I think that's why ITV have acted now and sacked him, because they're very aware of what will come out. But
the interesting thing, Fraser, about daytime television is that it's so intense, it's so competitive, it's whatever, and yet there is a huge majority of people in the country who never see it because it's on when they're working.
That's true. You have to be retired or unemployed or off sick.
Or a student.
Or a student, yeah. And you know, what's funny, I like the way that these sort of statements are very much in the vein of daytime TV. They're so very fake and schmaltzy, and you know, she stabs him in the back or whatever. She's managed to get him off the.
But is it stabbing? Look,
and is saying it won't be the same. You know, she was behind the.
Yeah, but is that stabbing him in the back?
Yes, she made her name on the back of him.
Yes, but if he's done something that she doesn't want to be associated with, and she said either he goes or I go, is that stabbing someone in the back, or is that saying, hang on, I have my own professional integrity, and I don't want to be associated with something?
If she has her own professional integrity, why isn't she coming out in public and saying, I have my own professional integrity, he has done something which will reflect badly on me, But she, again, is being as false as he is, and nobody is talking about the elephant in the room. And that's it. She says, I thank him, and I take this into account, for all his knowledge, his experience, and his humour, all the things that she didn't have when she came to the show. Right? Well, it's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. So she used that, so I would call that stabbing in the back. I would call it stabbing in the back.
You talk about the statements. His statement was, it was very weird again, wasn't it? As Fraser's quite rightly said, it's very This Morning and daytime TV sort of like language. And he kept going about how kind he's been. And a lot of people in the business said, well, that's the least, the least thing you are, actually. And, you know, I just keep going back, and I know this might be a bit personal, Eamonn, but his kindness wasn't much in evidence when he really rudely interrupted Ruth when she was trying to do a link to Loose Women.
Listen, I could give you a list of the lack of kindness and the lack of awareness from both of them about how they would socialise or know people around them. You just have to look at my phone full of people who are glad to see the back of the two of them. But that doesn't come out in public because there is another word here, the F word, fear. There is a fear. For some reason, he has, as Katie Hind in the Mail today says, he had the power, and my, did he love to wield it. Now, no one's actually sure why he had this power within ITV, but he did. And even at the end, Fraser, ITV are still giving him programmes. He's got a programme, he's got a Soap Award, and he's got another programme coming up, which they're seeing him, and they said they will continue to support him. So my point, support him in what?
And as you know, as you mentioned earlier, the 6th month of pay, which is extraordinary, you know.
So how does he wield all this support? Because he's not the best presenter in the world. So why is he so invaluable?
Did they give you support when you left?
Absolutely
ITV?
not. I was out the door. I wasn't even given a reason why I was out the door. And people say, oh, you're bitter, whatever. I didn't get a text from either of those two, either one of them, to say, sorry it ended this way, or good luck for the future.
And yet you sat on the sofa when he decided to come out.
Like everyone else, I was conned into him coming out as to what it was all about and whatever. But that's all wasn't the real story.
Do you think one of the reasons, Eamonn, that you weren't given a reason is Philip? Do you think he was one of the reasons?
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Do you think Philip was one of the reasons that you were got rid of?
Well, he wouldn't have fought for me. I mean, it's a terrible cabal of people who run ITV daytime, and indeed who run ITV. It has to be said, the Queen of Oak, Dame EasyJet, who runs it, and you know, whether she can't stand me or Piers Morgan or anybody, she has a little type of presenter who I can name, who are good and clean and squeaky and don't break the rules on anything, and that's all fine. But look, it's the way it is, and people talk about TV. Well, it's our jobs, it's how we earn our living, it's how we earn our income. How else are we supposed to do it? And if you've got people ganging up against you and protecting themselves against you, it's pretty shoddy.
But with a smile, always.
Always
Daytime smile.
So here's my point. The smileless and the false smile. And I ask this question, will Holly Willoughby be able to survive without Philip's cloak around her? And that is a question, I don't know the answer to that. But I think, Dawn, she has to be tarnished by whatever comes out or whatever is the fallout for all of that.
I think whatever, if the dam does really burst on all the stories that are, you know, going around on social media and people are talking about in the Indian industry, then there will be questions asked about not just Holly, but about lots of people working in ITV about why you didn't act sooner, why you didn't say something. I think, you know, it's a very, very tricky situation. I think, you know, to be fair to Holly, it's a tricky situation for her to be in.
I agree, I have to say.
Do you agree what?
It's a difficult situation for Holly to be in, having not personally done anything herself.
Well, you say that. I am very close to everything that goes on, and I don't think it's a difficult situation for her to be in. I think it's a selfish situation for her to be in. And the other thing I'm going to say, as for Q-Gate, and they were there making a film, of course, has anybody ever seen this film? Has anybody ever seen a clip from this film?
And I did queue up for 6.5 hours as well, by the way,
Did
as a journalist.
Stop lying to us. Lies. They were not there to make a film, and we're supposed to all believe they were there to make a film. No, they weren't.
Dawn Neeson, Fraser Myers, we've run out of time on the paper.
Oh, really?
Good one story. But you know what? I promise we'll have a higher story count in the next one, and we're going to talk about something incredibly sad now. So we say thank you to both of you.
Thank you.
And we'll see you just after 8:30.